Hey everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life here for Memory Lane Scrapbooking Store. I am guest designing for them again using Create Paper Good Vibes and this beautiful sketch created by Heather from Heather's Crafty Life. I am really excited to get started and I'm just kind of showing you what I have left over. So I've created two layouts with the Good Vibes collection and this will be my third. So I'm just kind of going through familiarizing myself with what I have. And right off the bat, I saw this really pretty border that is in this specialty paper. And it automatically caught my eye as being the top layer where I could place my photos, which if you reference the sketch, it will be at the end of the video again. It is kind of exactly the sizing that I wanted, and I could be able to match all the other layers off of that. So to trim that up, I have these photos of my daughter. This was her very first swing ride, and she was, you know, she wasn't in there for very long, about 5 minutes, and then she started whining. She just kind of was like, what am I in? Why am I dangling? And what is this thing? So she was okay for a minute. Afterwards, she's gone back a few times. We actually haven't took her to the swings as much as we used to take Jackson. Jackson loved them. But she has gone back a couple more times and has kind of started to like them and giggle and all of that. So she does like them. She just didn't at that particular moment. And you can see I'm just playing. I did have a little bit of this teal paper. I used most of it, to be honest with you, for my last layout with the tags. I used, because that was a cut apart and that was the B side of that. And I had used most of it up on that. So I don't have a lot of it, but I did want to highlight that green because it's so pretty. And I had to save a little bit of it. So I'm going to use that on this layout too. And now I'm just trying to find the middle piece. So it's the long strip that's going to go in between it. And I'm kind of digging this white, especially with the teal. I'm thinking this is going to work pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that up. I do kind of watch and make sure that I'm following. So let me back up. The sketch is on my computer screen and I am trying to make sure that I'm cutting it in the exact same dimensions as Heather's sketches created because I want to follow the sketch quite closely. There's a really quick look at Nora. She was, I had to stop doing something for a minute because she was kind of there, and so I was just showing you. That's so funny here. I didn't realize that was in this video. So I have everything trimmed up, and now I am just trying to figure out, I need the big square now, and I'm not exactly sure which one I want to do. I'm looking at some of these papers going, you know what, I want to save these for other projects, so I don't really want to use them on here. That pink probably would have worked, but then I flipped it over and remembered that it has that beautiful black flourish to it, and I wanted to save it for something else, so I'm not going to use that. And then I decide, well, I can use this craft. It's perfect. I don't need it for a full 12 by 12. I'm really leaning towards my go-to thing, which is to use white cardstock. I know I do it all the time, but I'm kind of stuck on that. You get to use up more of your pattern paper. You don't have to save the 12 by 12s and all of that. But it's just, I like it. I like the clean look that it can create. And then when I border it, and which I do normally do, it helps. I like it. So I'm just going to keep going with it. And I really, it used to bother me that all of my layouts had white cardstock as the base, and now it doesn't. I'm going to do what I like, and I don't care if it doesn't quite match up in my albums. It's okay. Things don't have to be perfect. I have to keep telling myself that, and this is just one of those things. So I now am just replaying exactly how everything's gonna line up. I don't love how short that teal is, I cannot talk today. I don't love how much the craft isn't out enough, so you're going to see me cut it in half in a little bit. And now I'm just going to play with my photos again, figure out my layers. This is very condensed, and that's kind of where I'm like, what? This is not quite following me. Maybe I didn't cut everything right. But that's okay. So I went off camera, decided on my border, which I just talked about. This pink and blue is also from the collection, and I'm just using a piece. This is a white piece of cardstock, the B side, obviously the back side from a paper pad of a pattern paper I wouldn't use, or I've already used it. So I'm going to use that. I glued it all down, and now I'm going to match everything up so that, so you see I can cut that. And I'm going to try to make it all, figure out where I want everything to go, layer it all up. And as I'm doing this, I'm looking at it thinking, how am I going to make these photos kind of pop off the page now that I've flipped it and made the bird paper, that floral paper, kind of a little more dominant? I'm going to need to add some extra layers to my photos so you notice the photos and not that background paper. The first thing I decided to do is I went into my ephemera and found some pieces. So you can see I found this awesome piece of pom-pom. This is also from the same cut apart as my first layer. And that really works. I love that. It definitely highlights that one photo there. And then there was a piece of ephemera that had a saying to it that I wasn't going to use, but my photo fit perfectly, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. The same with on the left-hand side there. That one has the notebook, like it's been ripped out of a notebook, and the saying, I think it's like good vibes only, which I didn't need, so that's okay. I'm going to use that. So each one of them has its own little piece there. And then I'm going to add something down to the bottom. So it caught my eye when I'm looking at the sketch. Heather has put her name down at the bottom so you know who created the sketch. But I actually really liked the detail of there being something down there. And so obviously I'm not going to put her name down there, but adding that little piece of, it's in the ephemera sheet, and it just says date. And my plan at the moment is to write my journaling there. So I'm just putting it down there, but now I want everything to kind of shift up a little bit, because why make it all like it's too cluttered? So everything kind of just has to get shifted, which I'm just showing you. I also went off camera and stitched everything. And now I'm showing you, like, I had it in the middle, but now I need to rotate it. So I just grabbed my ruler. I am not normally one to have everything match up. That doesn't bother me. But what I was trying to do is, because these papers are cut in half, I do want those two pieces to be in line with one another so that it's not, they're already kind of a funny lines because they're different. So I wanted them to just equal up to one another. And then again, I'm just going to layer everything back. And then while I'm looking at this, it's missing something. And so I decide it needs a little bit of mixed media. And you know, that's always a fun adventure. You never know exactly how it's going to turn out. And I was pretty much like, had my layout all put together. So if it wasn't going to turn out, I was going to ruin this, but I was going to go for it anyways. So I just put gesso on the whole, all of my pattern paper, background paper. Let me comment about this. So if you are one that uses gesso, but you only ever put it in the area you think you're going to use it, I would suggest that you just put out a little bit more and get it on your whole background. The reason why is, if you like splatters, which I do, I love to do my mixed media and then add splatters, and you put a splatter where there isn't mixed media, gesso, excuse me, versus where there is a difference, and you can tell the difference. Maybe in the long run, it's not something that's a huge deal, and if it doesn't bother you, then obviously don't worry about it. But it's enough of a difference to me that it actually bothers me. So I've learned my lesson, and I just add gesso over all of it. So when I add the splatters, it all matches together. And when I roll up, because I don't like it to be really saturated, I like my mixed media to be very muted. So when I do that, and then I use my little toilet paper roll there to get it all up, it works perfectly, and it's all even everywhere. Same with when I do my splatters. So just a little hint, if you're still kind of new to mixed media, or if you ever notice that and it bugs you, that's why it is. It's because you've only put gesso in the area you're doing your mixed media, so the splatters, they look a little different. So I go ahead and add splatters in my blue and my teal. I'm using the same colors I've been using all month long. I'm obsessed with these two colors. It's Frostbite and See It in the Morning, or something, no, something about sea. It's a teal color. And then I added a little bit of gold Heidi Shine, and you can see I've laid everything back down. And I did write my journaling in that little tab there, but I hate it. I don't like the way it looks. It's not really exactly the story I was trying to tell. So I'm going to cover it up by using a little bit of this leftover frame that I had. And it's the pom-pom, so it matches that middle kind of frame of that photo there. So it works really well because it brings that down to the bottom. And I'll do a little cluster there, which you'll see in a minute. I'm thinking about adding this really fun yellow frame, but it's way too yellow, and nothing else really goes. Like, I don't have a lot of yellow anywhere else. So I do attempt it, but it's not going to stay. It's just way too weird, and your eye goes to the frame and the yellow pom-poms and not to my photos. And you all know how I feel about stuff like that. So I'm not going to do that. I do add the word best day ever, and I'm trying to add some of these stars, which you'll see kind of switches itself up in a little bit. I'm kind of liking that there. You can see I'm trying to add the yellow. Nope. Christy, take that away. It looks horrible. If you were trying to create a layout where you wanted that vibrance, it would be perfect. It really would be the perfect touch for this, or if she had yellow in her outfit or in the photo at all, it would have worked, but she doesn't, so it looks kind of funny. I'm now going to wrap up my layout. There's a few things you're not going to see because they just didn't record this video. I knew this was getting long, and this is a way longer video than normal, so I do apologize. But what ends up happening is I use a lot of these really fun black alphas that come in the collection, and I do use some of the gold thickers that are also part of the collection. So the top up there by that ticket from the photo, I'm going to put in the word #swing. And then it says best day ever down where you see it there. And at the bottom, I write well, kinda. So I create the word well with the black thicker alpha stuff. And what ends up happening is I use that kind of library card that you saw me moving around there. I write my journaling on there, talking about how she was there for about 5 minutes and then she didn't like it. So it was a really good day, but she didn't, so it was like #swing, best day ever, well, kinda. And then my journaling kind of explains all of that, and I really love that. And it kind of brings your eye through everything if you read the title like that, which I enjoyed. And I just like it. I love the way the layout turned out. It was exactly what I was wanting. I do feel like something is missing, so have a look at my end photo and let me know what you would do to kind of tie everything in. I think what's missing is I need to trace my green pattern paper with some black so it stands out. But I'd love to know what you think you would do to kind of wrap up the layout. And let me mention right now, be sure to head on over to Memory Lane's scrapbook shop and get your hands on this collection. You can use my code JOLLY20. I want to let you know that if there's a sale going on, you'll get the best deal. So the code is 20% off. You'll get that versus the 15% off sale. So you don't get doubled up, just so you're aware. And there's a look at my final layout. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I'll be back next week. Bye.